In September 2023, just days before the Million March for Children, union leaders gathered in an emergency top secret Zoom call to organize and counter protest against parental inclusion in schools. Now, the Million Marchers were mostly ordinary parents and citizens speaking out for the very first time about what they viewed as far left politicization of our schools. Most of these parents had never attended a protest or organized action before. I'm Melanie Bennett, and welcome to another episode of Oh My God, what are the unions up to? So, why are union executives so worried about ordinary citizens exercising their democratic right to peaceful assembly? Let's listen to Susan Gapka, member of CUPE, tell us in their own words.
Hi, I'm bewildered, but I'm actually Susan Gapka. I'm here with CUPE Ontario. I'm the Human Rights Chair and been directed by our president at CUPE Ontario to throw off my Sunshine Susie cape and put on my Super Susan cape. But I use she, her pronouns, and I use elle française, and I've got a heck of a lot of emotion surrounding this. I'm an out trans woman. I'm a trans elder. And, 20 years ago, we could get 5 people to protest at Queen's Park to get our health care restored. Now and I'm going to say, I don't want to go too long, Don, or whoever's facilitating, but a lot of memories of the fights we've had where we struggled. There were just a handful of us meeting in a room, going out, trying to get allies and supporters. In about a week, and then we built this Canada where trans and non-binary people and gender diverse people were included. And that took a good 13 to 15 years. And here we are. They're coming back. We have a backlash. But folks, we've been to this rodeo before. We have struggled, we've survived, we've struggled, and some of us have actually overcome, and that makes us really, really strong. So about 10 days ago, or it feels like a lifetime ago in our world, when Stephen Lying Leche said that, put out the trial about parental consent in the schools, my life seems to have changed. And then after Conservative convention, and these are really minor, and many of us know how politics works, the inner wheel of big P politics, and they're simply resolutions. But the fuel behind these resolutions that the Conservative Party adopted. And so I was feeling a little lost after that, wondered what's going to happen. And now you all bring me so much joy, so much comfort to know that there's more than 5 of us looking at each other in a small room, that we are here united in the struggle, in solidarity together. I just want to touch on Carolyn's comments, my comrade over there smiling in the corner box. I'm in agreement, and most people I'm talking to in my little bubble here, which is expanding as we speak. People that I talk to want to stop this dead in its tracks, and that's the wrong word to use. That's a figure of speech, but we want to show them strength. And what we have in labor is numbers. And if we can put up a good show on the 20th, but not make this a one-time event, we need to be doing counter-protests, educational forums. Trans Day of Remembrance is coming up, and we need to add that political message. We want our political people, the people who have been, the word I'm thinking of misinformation, that there's this myth and misinformation of what's happening in our schools, what drag queens are doing. We need to be giving them the key message. We need to have opportunities to, there's so many of them, it's hard to counter all the hate messages. But we have time to do that. But this is, but Carolyn, back to you. If we stand up to the bully will decide what to do. They will fight, fright, or flight, fight, or fright. And so let's give them some fright on September 20th, so that on September 21st till whatever, that they're working on the flight tactic. I think I'm going to stop there, but I'm just really appreciating all of you here today to know that I'm not struggling alone, that we are in this together. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Did I hear that right? Susan said he was directed by President at CUPE Ontario. That's Fred Hahn. Yeah, that Fred Hahn. Susan's out here not only misrepresenting the intention of parents on Fred's instruction, but organizing against them in a way that could really spell trouble for all of the people here at CUPE. Let me just remind you that the parents participating in the 1 Million March for Children are asking for simple, reasonable things like parental inclusion in education, age-appropriate resources and materials, political neutrality in schools, and, oh my God, don't keep secrets from parents. To me, that seems quite straightforward, but I think Susan's take is a little bit darker. Susan said, we have a backlash. They're coming back. We have to stop this dead in its tracks. A backlash from parents wanting more transparency. There's no backlash in the way that's being described. These parents aren't some far-right extremist mob. They're advocating for themselves and for their families to be respected. But according to Susan, there's some kind of major threat that needs to be crushed. Now, it's one thing to disagree with the motivations of a protest, but Susan really takes it to a whole other level by organizing counter-protests and encouraging union members to join in. Here's what he said. What we have in labor is numbers. We can put up a good show on the 20th. Wait a minute. Is this really what unions are meant to be doing, mobilizing against lawful citizens? Unions should be there protecting workers' rights, their members, not organizing against parents who are peacefully and lawfully exercising their right to protest. So for me, here's the kicker. Some of those parents who attended the Million Marches in 2023 were CUPE members. So that means that Susan is using union power and influence to fight against their own members, who are probably too afraid to speak up. Surely that has to be a misuse of resources and union power. But it doesn't stop there. Susan goes on to say, let's give them some fright on September 20th. So they're working on the flight. Why does he want to frighten parents? Really? How is that constructive? Or even legal? I had a little peek at the Ontario Labour Relations Act, and it looks like on Section 76, it states that it explicitly prohibits intimidation or coercion by unions. Susan calling for a fright certainly sounds like a lot of intimidation to me. I think that's crossing a line. Don't forget, there was another attendee on that call, Galen Cramsey, who I would probably call a seasoned activist of IBEW, another union. He was charged with assaulting a minor a few days later at the Billboard Chris protest.
A minor, bro. I'm a fucking minor. He punched me. He fucking punched me at 16. He fucking punched me. I'm 16 years old and he fucking punched me, bro. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you like, don't like Yeah, but we don't know what to do.
What's your name? I'm fucking pressing charges for punching a minor.
Is that the fright that Susan is referring to? Susan's doing like these other speakers on this call and spreading complete misinformation about the intention of these parents. And he's doing that while claiming that it's the parents who are the ones who are spreading myth and misinformation about what's happening in school. To me, what's really happening here is that parents are asking for clarity, transparency, accountability about what their kids are being taught in school, and they're being mischaracterized as hateful spreaders of misinformation. To me, that's dishonest and could very well be defamation. All in all, I think Susan here and CUPE are in some hot water. Instead of protecting union members and fostering respectful dialogue, he's dividing communities and steering up CUPE into legally questionable territory. If you want to know more about this union video, I have a series covering the different speakers. You can go find it in a playlist. And if you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.